The story begins with a top security clearance government employee named Emily. She was assigned to investigate a secret file that had been buried for decades. The file detailed a secret war that had been going on between underground aliens in Antarctica and the world's governments. According to the file, the underground aliens had been working with Hitler and the Nazis since before the end of World War II. They had helped Hitler escape to Antarctica in a submarine, where he continued to work with the aliens on advanced technology and mind control methods. Over the years, the underground aliens had been abducting humans and performing experiments on them, using them as test subjects for their technology. They had also been attacking military personnel with their UFOs, leaving behind a trail of death and destruction. The world's governments had been forced to sign the Antarctic Treaty, which prevented them from disclosing the existence of the aliens to the public. The governments would exchange human subjects for advanced technology. Emily was shocked by what she had discovered and decided to share the information with her superiors and like-minded individuals with proper security clearance within her department. A task force was assembled to gather intelligence and devise a plan of attack against the underground aliens. As they continued their investigation, they discovered that certain governments, such as Russia, China, and certain departments within the US, had been working with the aliens all along. These governments had been double-crossing the rest of the world by aiding the aliens in abducting more humans than was agreed upon by the treaties, for more secretive technologies to gain leverage over the other world governments. They would also disclose sensitive information that would compromise the national security of their enemy countries. The group also discovered that the underground aliens had no intention of keeping their end of the bargain. They had been using the humans as mere cattle to fuel their own needs, and were planning to take over the world. The group knew that they had to act fast. They started to recruit members from all over the world, people who were willing to risk their lives to take down the alien threat. The group trained rigorously, knowing that the battle ahead would be a difficult one. With the use of secretly obtained documents disclosing top-secret particle beam and laser technology, the task force had developed weaponry that can destroy the Nazi aliens' force field defenses, as well as deflect their detection technology. After months of intense physical and tactical training, a strategy was devised. Finally, the day of the battle arrived. The group secretly made their way to Antarctica, where they were met with a massive army of underground aliens and UFOs. The battle was fierce and brutal, with both sides suffering heavy losses. As the battle raged on, the group discovered that the underground aliens had developed mind control technology that was far more advanced than anything they had ever seen before. The group knew that they had to take out the source of the technology if they were going to stand a chance at winning the war. In a daring move, the group split up into two teams. One team was tasked with taking out the alien army, while the other team was tasked with destroying the mind control technology. The battle was intense, with both teams fighting for their lives. The team tasked with taking out the alien army suffered heavy losses, but managed to hold their own. Meanwhile, the other team made their way to the source of the mind control technology. They fought their way through waves of alien guards, finally reaching the technology room. One member of the team had been severely wounded. Pinned down by enemy aliens, he used a hand grenade, sacrificing himself to save the remaining members of the team and destroying the technology. The rest of the team barely made it out alive. With the mind control technology destroyed, the underground aliens were thrown into chaos. The battle raged on, but the humans finally managed to gain the upper hand. The aliens were defeated, and the remaining members of the group emerged as heroes known as the Saviors. However, as the Saviors returned to the outside world, they discovered that the damage had already been done. The underground aliens had infiltrated the world's governments and were now in complete control. The remaining members of the group knew that they would have to go into hiding, biding their time until they could launch another attack against the alien threat. The horror of the secret war between underground aliens and the world proved to be a cautionary tale. It showed how dangerous the greed of humanity can be, and how the pursuit of advanced technology can lead to disastrous consequences. The world was left in a state of chaos and despair, with the alien Nazis ruling over them with an iron fist. The remaining members of the Saviors had to act swiftly if they were going to have any hope of saving the world. They began to gather intelligence, plotting their next move against the alien threat. As they continued their investigations, they discovered that the alien Nazis had developed a new weapon. This weapon had the power to turn human beings into mindless drones, completely under the control of the aliens. The Saviors knew that they had to stop them from deploying this weapon, but they had no idea where it was being held. They began to dig deeper, tracking down leads and interrogating prisoners. Finally, they received a tip that led them to a hidden facility in the heart of the Amazon jungle. The facility was heavily guarded, but an elite team managed to sneak inside, undetected. What they found inside the facility was beyond their worst nightmares. The alien Nazis had been conducting experiments on human subjects, trying to perfect their mind control technology. They observed how herds of human beings acted as a single hive-minded entity. The group knew that they had to destroy the facility and stop the aliens from unleashing their new weapon on the world. As they made their way deeper into the facility, the Saviors discovered that the aliens had been experimenting on one of their own kind. The alien they found was unlike any they had ever seen before. It was covered in scars and wounds, its eyes full of hate and rage. They realized that the alien had been tortured and experimented on for years, turning it into a killing machine. In a brash moment, they decided to free the experimental alien and use it as a weapon against the enemy Nazis. The group of elite Saviors managed to free the enormous creature and began to make their way out of the facility. But the alien was too far gone, consumed by rage and hate. It turned on them, attacking with an onslaught of special abilities and its massive strength. The battle was intense, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. In the end, the elite Saviors managed to defeat the alien, but at a great cost. They realized that they had made a grave mistake and that their actions had only served to further the aliens' cause. Once alerted of the elite group's presence, the Nazi aliens had begun the process of activating the weapon. As they made their way out of the facility, the Saviors realized that the alien Nazis had won. They had successfully deployed their mind control weapon, and the world was now at their mercy more than ever before. The remaining members of the group went into hiding, knowing that they were the last hope for humanity. They once again continued to collect and organize intelligence to plan for their next strike. But as the years passed, their hope dwindled. The Saviors felt it was too late. The alien Nazis had their control over the entire world, and there was nothing they could do to stop them. The world was in a state of hopelessness and despair, ruled over by an alien race that had no mercy for humanity. The few remaining free humans were left to wonder how things could have gone so wrong, and if there was any hope left for humanity. The horror of the underground aliens and the Nazi threat lingered in their minds for years to come, serving as a grim reminder of the cost of secrecy and the pursuit of power. Despite the heavy losses of their fellow members, the Saviors continued to work in secret, organizing and gathering intel to develop a plan to strike back against the alien overlords. They knew that the only way to defeat them was to take the fight to Antarctica, where the aliens had their stronghold. After months of planning and preparation, the group launched their attack on the alien Nazis. They were aided by a small contingent of soldiers from around the world who had managed to break free of the aliens' control. The battle was fierce and gruesome. The Saviors and their allies fought bravely, using every weapon and tactic at their disposal. The aliens' superior technology gave them an advantage, but the group's determination and sheer force of will allowed them to hold their ground. As the battle raged on, the Savior's leader, a man named Michael, managed to infiltrate the aliens' central command. There, he discovered the true extent of their plan. The aliens weren't content with ruling over humanity. They planned to wipe out all life on Earth and repopulate the planet with their own kind. Acting swiftly, Michael devised a plan to recalibrate the mind control technology. He began to sabotage the alien systems, causing chaos and confusion throughout their stronghold. Michael had figured out a way to reverse the mind control frequency to target members of the alien race. In turn, billions of humans around the world revolted against the Nazi aliens. The Saviors and their allies took advantage of the distraction, launching a final assault on the aliens' main base. The battle was brutal, but in the end, humanity emerged victorious. The aliens' stronghold was destroyed, and the surviving members were either killed or captured. But the victory came at a cost. The group had lost many of their own, and the world was left in a state of shock and disbelief. The newly awakened world realized the existence of underground aliens and their collaboration with the Nazis and other factions of humans. This caused widespread panic and unrest. In the aftermath of the battle, the world began to rebuild and pick up the pieces. Governments around the world began working together, and a new world order was established. The exchange of open information and technology and resources was implemented worldwide to prepare for any future threats. The secrecy that had allowed the underground aliens and the Nazi threat to exist was finally lifted, and the world began to heal. Humanity had started a new chapter of enlightenment, releasing their innate, immature desire for greed and power. Education was restructured, and all members of humanity were taught to work in harmony with nature to produce their own needs. Travel was revolutionized with anti-gravity technology, which removed the world's borders. The new world seemed to shed a fresh light of hope for the future, but for the members of the Saviors, the battle was far from over. They knew that there were still remnants of the underground aliens out there, waiting to strike back against humanity. They continued to work, preparing for the next battle in what would be a never-ending war for the fate of the planet. As the years passed, The saviors became known as the guardians of the earth, the protectors of humanity. Their story became the stuff of legend, inspiring generations to come to never give up the fight against the unknown threats that lurk in the shadows. In the end, the story of the underground aliens and the Nazi threat became a warning to all those who would seek to keep secrets from the public. It showed that no matter how powerful one may seem, the truth will always come to light, and that it is only through cooperation and unity that humanity can truly survive. Despite the fictional aspects of this story, it exemplifies a bone-chilling message of the horrors we can unleash upon ourselves in exchange for power and greed. Our pursuits of those comforts may become our very own annihilation.